This is a video about the new men coming up. I'm talking about the young men are those who consider themselves men, the younger generation of Generation Z, Generation Alpha or Gen Alpha. Right, these men they're gonna grow up witnessing the men before them. Right, they're gonna witness the the projected false dominance, false power of the men before them, right? And they're going to transform that, right? They're not going to equate that to masculinity, right? You're already seeing that, right? You're already seeing this divide between what a man is, right? You're already seeing the divide only because the definition or the thought of masculinity is evolving. It's changing and it's evolving, right? It's molding itself into something different, something more true, right? So another thing you'll see is that whatever the men before Generation Z and the Generation Alpha were good at hiding aspects of themselves, right? Hiding the feminine side of themselves, right? Hiding their feelings, hiding their emotions, right? And you already see that Gen Z or Gen Alpha, the men of Gen Z or the men of Gen Alpha are more, they are more accepting and more expressive of their emotions and feelings, right? They're more willing to discuss their emotions and feelings or whatever they're feeling, right? Um, and also, they will be more comfortable with their sexuality, right? You already seen that. Again, there's a big divide here between what what a man is previously thought of and what it is becoming, right? You're seeing the younger generation of men being more comfortable with their sexuality, um, more defining their gender as something more than what it's been always been defined as in society, right? And also they will find more ways to balance out their masculinity, right? What we define as men currently, or what we've always defined as being manly, has been very rigidly masculine, right? Like when we think of a man, we only think of him being some some extreme form of masculinity, right? Strictly masculinity. But what we're seeing is that there is going to be a more balance between the feminine and the masculine in the future of men. And you're already seeing that in the group of Gen Alpha and Gen Z, right? You're already seeing them not being afraid of their feminine side by the way they dress, maybe by the way they act, their behaviors. And again, there is this divide between and when I say divide, there is this fear of what the older generation thought as being a man, right? It's dissolving and it's becoming something totally new that a lot of people are afraid to experience. Um, and this is gonna be you're gonna witness this, or you're already witnessing this with Generation Alpha and Generation Z. So if you want to evolve your masculinity, right, or evolve your definition of being a man, if you're not afraid to do that, look at the ways the younger generation are defining what masculinity or how to be a man is, right? A lot of times when we become older, we kind of ignore learning from the younger generation, right? Part of our ego comes from part of our ego steps in to that, right? It says to itself, why should I learn from the younger generation? They don't know what they're doing. But they are a prime example of uh, evolution, right? It's always the younger generation that evolves life, evolves the world, right? Changes the world for the better, right? So again, if you want to learn how to be a man, or learn how to be masculine, true learn how to behave as a true masculine, you could always look at the younger generation of men coming up. Thank you for watching this video.